Art cinema, fart cinema.
Art cinema, fart cinema.
Art cinema, fart cinema. Fart cinema.
The following podcast contains spoilers for the Hottie and the Nottie, Pledge This, Superbad, Shrek, Pulp Fiction, The In-Betweeners 2, Drive, Scanners, There's Something About Mary, Date Movie, Larry Crown, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Notting Hill, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Village of the Damned. Happy listening.
Podcast voices, Simon.
Podcast voice.
Podcast voice.
What makes you tick?
Welcome to Art Cinema, Fart Cinema.
What makes me tick?
A podcast.
A podcast?
Of films that one would ordinarily go at.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. I want to talk about films that I would defend as well. There's a whole debate to be had on whether it's art, trash, porn, shit, fart, flies eating shit.
Precisely.
You know?
Very good.
I want to know what a fly eating a fart looks like. That's some Marcel Duchamp Dada artwork in there somewhere.
Jesus, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, that's because you don't know art history. Neither do I, of course, because I just went there for about 4 years and didn't listen to anything.
Jeez, it was a long time ago. My name is Nadeem.
My name's Simon, and I once was an art student. We've disclosed that quite early. There we go.
That's how you know an art student's an art student.
Once upon a time, yeah. As soon as you say Duchamp, people stop talking.
Oh God, he's an art student.
Fuck off. Yeah.
Anyway, so we started this podcast. We came up with this in...
It was all an excuse to talk about Paris Hilton.
It was really an excuse to talk about
Paris
Hilton.
We were walking around. I'm a fan of Taylor Swift, and the next step is let's learn about Paris Hilton as well.
Yeah, because Paris Hilton is a proto Taylor Swift. Paris Hilton is a proto...
It's like Iggy Pop is proto-punk.
Yes.
And Paris Hilton is proto-Tate, is it?
I'd say Paris Hilton is proto Kim Kardashian. If you know who that is. Do you know who that is?
Kim Kardashian, is she the one that got her ass out for no reason? Big oily butt.
That's right. I forgot she broke the internet.
Like, they didn't actually. She wasn't supposed to take her clothes off. It was meant to be a recreation of that, like where the glasses balanced on her bum.
Exactly, and she had. I think she was holding a champagne, and it went over onto her bum. That's right.
That was meant to be a recreation of a photograph that had already been made.
I never knew that.
Because of just who she is, she decided, well, I'm going to get my clothes off. Yep. I'm an exhibitionist. There's a camera. There's a lens pointed at me.
Well, you know what? Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton have in common.
Yep.
They both made tapes, Simon. They have both have tapes.
Does Kim Kardashian have a sex tape?
She has a tape, Simon.
A tape.
She has a tape.
I've seen the Paris Hilton one, but I didn't know about the Kim Kardashian.
Well, we're not going to talk about One Night in Paris today. We're gonna
fuck it.
We're going to instead talk about so not One Night in Paris. We're going to talk about
the other great masterpieces.
The other masterpieces of her filmography. I'm gonna just find out when they came out before I say them.
We've got the DVD boxes as props.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have the Hottie and the Nottie, 2008, props. And we have National Lampoon's Pledge This. I believe it was 2006 or so.
2006. Yeah. So it's non-visual props we've got here. It's not actually props at all.
You can hear them.
You know, you can't really have visual props on a podcast, so we've got them for reference if we forget what the actual films were about.
We watched these films a few weeks ago. We actually recorded an episode which went horribly wrong. For
technical reasons.
Yeah. Well, it still went pretty badly though, didn't it?
Yeah, okay, suppose, yeah.
But it was a learning experience. And
I wrote 4 pages of notes on the Hottie and the Nottie.
I know, and you were like studiously keeping to them, which is good, but perhaps misguided given the free nature of the art form of the podcast. Right, so let's talk about...
I'm glad everyone knows that now. Yeah.
So I don't know if we should talk about Paris Hilton first. I think we should talk about Paris Hilton first.
You can tell me about her because I don't know anything.
Well,
I saw her on David Letterman once, and that was the first. I recognised her face and name from being around, but there was this girl on David Letterman going, "It's hot, it's hot."
That's her.
And I was like, okay, so that's who she is. And then 3 weeks later, David Letterman started talking about her again as if she had never been on the programme. It was as if he'd never met her before. He went, oh, you know the Paris Hilton? Oh, yeah, you know her, and he's talking to his musical people who are over there at the piano. Yeah, we know Paris Hilton. It was like, yeah, she was on the show 3 weeks ago.
It was a bit, man. It was a bit.
You know Paris Hilton? Oh, yeah. She's trying to patent "it's hot" as her own, phrase.
It's hot. She also did "it's fetch" or "that's fetch."
Does that mean that she wants to be able to sue people when they use it? Is that is that the point?
Not unrelated. Taylor Swift tried to patent the words "this sick beat" because that's a line in her song, and so I don't know if she might.
I'm a big fan of Taylor
really?
Swift.
I don't know if this is a joke or not. So Paris Whitney Hilton, born February 17th, 1981. And my goodness, her Wikipedia page is interesting. She's an American television personality, socialite, not a thing, businesswoman, model, and singer. And next interesting part about her, very interesting part about her, is she is the great-granddaughter of Conrad Hilton, the founder of Hilton Hotels, just in case you found her second name to be familiar. Conrad Hilton, of course, plays a major part in Mad Men Season 3, which is part of what inspired me to think about Paris Hilton.
Is he a fictional character in it, or is he actually an actor in it?
It's based on the real Connie Hilton, because he wanted to put a Hilton on the moon, according to the show. I don't know if that's real.
Cool. I love that show.
It's a blooming great show.
Cool.
So let's see, what else do we have? Wow. She began her modeling career as a teenager when she signed with New York-based modeling agency Trump Model Management.
Donald Trump.
I believe him. What other Trump is it going to be? None other than Mr. President.
Yeah.
Her lifestyle and rumoured short-lived relationships made her a feature of entertainment news and tabloid magazines. They're writing about her in the past tense, as though she's died.
In a
she's
way
not
she
dead.
has.
Okay, we'll get into that.
In a way she has.
We will get into that. She was proclaimed New York's leading it girl in 2001, and then it of course goes on to talk about One Night in Paris, which we're not gonna touch on. So yeah, that's Paris Hilton, man. And also I found another thing, and I just want to talk around this. Her IMDb page. So Pledge This, the movies that we're going to talk about, Pledge This and The Hottie and the Nottie I think they both have a 1.9 out of 10 on
if that's true, then I think that's
IMDb.
bullshit, because The Hottie and the Naughty and I just want to say as well, this isn't naughty as in Naughty, which is what I think a lot of people think when you say the name. I think a lot of people see that and
it's nuanced, isn't it?
And it's like, oh, it's a fucking dirty film.
But what else would you expect from the maker of One Night in Paris, Simon?
Yeah, but Naughty is Nottie, as in just not hot.
Exactly. And that is the crux of the film. But we can't talk about it just yet. I want to talk about this. Actually, to be honest, a lot of it's done, I think. But she's got a music. She's had a music career.
Well, that's just what I mean by in a way she has died. It's like Billie Piper, her music career died, but then she blossomed into a Doctor Who actress.
And now she's nothing. What does Billie Piper do now?
I don't know. I don't want to be accused of suggesting that someone's career's dead when in fact they're not. I was laughing about that guy Darius, the Scottish guy that did Pop Idol or whatever.
Was he Scottish?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah, and I was laughing about him and going, "Oh, Darius, like that." And then, of course, I was educated by the people in the room that, in fact, he's doing really well on stage.
Is he?
And I was like, "Oh, okay, then, fair enough."
Well done, Darius.
We'll all aspire to be Darius then, will we? Colourblind.
We could all learn a little bit from our boy Darius. I completely forgot.
So there we
existed.
go. For all I know, Paris Hilton might actually be some really incredibly well-revered person at this point, and we're just bashing on her former days.
No, I don't want to bash her. I just want to shed some light on this. So her IMDb page, she's got 2 of the worst movies in the top 100. I think she's got more than that in the bottom 100 of IMDb. But her IMDb description is really quite complimentary of her and really likes to bolster everything but her film career. So it talks about how Hilton is widely recognised as one of the original pioneers of reality TV. Because she had a show called The Simple Life. Did you watch that, Simon?
Heard about it. That's where there was another blonde girl, wasn't there?
I believe Nicole Richie. I might be wrong. It doesn't say this here. But it ran from 2002 to 2007. So I grew up with this show, but I never watched it. But I definitely knew what it was. So Paris Hilton, she's disappeared off the face of the earth.
But at least, the internet movie database is here to, bolster up her non-film work.
Well, let's bolster her actual film work then.
Yeah, let's do it.
What film do you want to talk about first, Simon?
Well, no, this thing about if it's really true that these two films have the same score, then it's bullshit, because The Hottie and the Naughty is a much better film than Pledge This.
I would completely agree.
And it's you've talked about in our sort of candid conversations, you've sort of talked about the fact that the director might have aimed for a sort of Judd Apatow type.
Absolutely.
Thing. I think also Farrelly Brothers is in there as well.
See, I've only seen one or two of their films.
Yeah,
I think Farrelly Brothers is Pledge This. I think the Pledge
No.
No?
Farrelly Brothers, Pledge This is shit. Right.
It's so good.
Farrelly Brothers and Judd Apatow make movies.
Yeah.
And actually, Superbad was directed by another art.
Was it not Judd Apatow?
No, it was produced by him, but directed by a guy who's got a rich indie career, which I don't know about.
Ah, okay.
I do like him, and I know what film is it like. I don't know. I don't want to guess which films might have been his. I'm kind of showing that I'm kind of a movie slacker. I'm not actually the big
casual fanboy.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking cinephile. I'm not a chin stroking cinephile.
Thing is, you totally are. You know more
Except
about random old films.
I don't know what this director the guy who directed Superbad. I do know that he was handpicked because it was this thing of it's this kind of crass teen comedy, but if we get this guy to direct it, he'll make an art film version of that, and that's what I think Superbad is. Superbad
is great.
The scene where Jonah Hill goes in to buy booze, and he starts fantasizing different scenarios of how he could end up actually successfully purchasing the booze, and it's got this real dreamy quality, it fades back from fantasy to reality in a way that really feels quite fluid and how you would really daydream. And I think it's quite a unique scene, right? So that's
is it? Oh, let's segue into the Hottie and the Naughty, because the film starts with the daydream sequence, doesn't it?
It's a narration. You know the girl.
That's right.
You know the one, and he's kind of speaking in poetry, so you get a sense that this central character dude, played by.
Good question. I've got it here.
Joel David Moore.
Joel David Moore of Avatar fame.
Yeah. Although I don't care about Avatar, so I'm congratulating him fully on his career, but I don't give a shit about Avatar.
He might not be in the next 5.
I think he is. I think that it's on his in production thing.
Is that right?
And on movie database.
We should get paid by IMDb, man.
Yeah. So we're getting the sense that this guy thinks in poetry, and he's a songwriter. He's got an acoustic guitar.
Does the film start off well then?
It does, right? I think
so too.
I think that the director hits in there with I've got a visual style.
He does.
A kind of credible sort of handling of visual metaphor, right? Because the fucking girl pulls a drawer out of his chest.
Does he?
Of drawers.
I don't remember that.
She says, "I'm taking my drawer," and she actually
she takes the whole thing.
She carries the drawer down the stairs.
Right, that's when he breaks up with his girlfriend. This is after the daydream section.
Yeah, we've gone past that.
Don't worry about it. It's cool.
So yeah, I mean, but we get we get the narration kind of bring up to speed on how this guy had 8 years old or whatever, and a blonde girl in his class.
He has a crush on Christabel.
Crush on Christabel.
But Christabel has an ugly friend known as, is it June? June. And he went to school with Christabel, has fallen out of contact with Christabel, and then we hard cut into his life with an abusive girlfriend who, as you just said, takes her drawer when they split up. She also hits her with a car. She also hits him with a car.
Suggesting that she's probably been abusive the whole time.
Exactly. See, there's subtext here.
So he's singing a song for her, and she quite rightfully points out that the songs tend to show her in a negative light.
That's correct. Yeah.
Which suggests that it's the only material. Maybe it's the only material he has to work with as a writer.
Wow.
And she takes her drawer.
She does.
The actual drawer itself, this is what I was getting at, and in a moment of Freudian visual metaphor brilliance, the camera actually zooms into this black gaping hole in his chest.
Wow, very good.
And you see in the drawer beneath what was her drawer is a photograph of Christabel that he's held on to all those years.
How do you remember this? I genuinely don't remember that.
It fucking happened.
Are you joking?
No, that's the stuff. It's, you know, you're listening to this and you're thinking it is a fucking good movie. Jesus Christ, it's like Citizen Kane 2. It's like Orson Welles came back from the dead and directed Paris Hilton.
It's very earnestly directed and it's very earnestly put together. Or is that a bad word? Sincerely? It's sincerely put together.
Well, in earnest, in that I think that the guy jumped at the chance to make a proper movie with it.
He really did. And in fact, so Tom Putnam, the director, in the facts from our favourite website, it says 4 out of 6 found this interesting. Tom Putnam's first (brackets) and last time as a director of a major motion picture. I really feel bad for the guy because he'd really tried with this one. And
if you look at his there's a film called Shafted. That's his previous effort of his, and on that database thing that we won't keep name checking, you can watch the trailer for that film, and it's about a white guy who turns into a black exploitation star in the style of Shaft. So he's shafted. And
is it meant to be good?
Yeah,
that sounds interesting because Tom Putnam has since released 2 acclaimed documentaries, not just well regarded but acclaimed documentaries, called Burn, released in 2012, and Village of the it just says Village of the, I think it's like Village of the something, I don't know what it's called. Village of the, no, I don't have it.
It sounds really interesting.
But it's about a man, a World War II veteran who heals. It's a real life documentary, and it's about a World War II veteran who heals through the creation of a miniature destroyed World War II village. And I really want to watch it. It sounds really cool.
That sounds good. Yeah,
it sounds great. Maybe we should revisit Tom Putnam at one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So
Tom Putnam, you're a guy.
You're a good guy if you're if you're listening, Tom.
We like the Hottie and the Nottie.
We do.
I think it's a good film.
I think it's hilarious.
I think that it turns your stomach a few times in a ways that you're like, I wish I didn't see that.
Right. So let's talk about that because there's some really gross moments in it. So there's a bit where June.
And they're all in the fucking trailer as well. So that's if it flopped, it might be because you put one too many gross bits in the trailer.
Yeah, Tom.
And people just thought this is going to be 90 minutes of gross.
Well, and it is in a way. There's a lot of gross bits. So June is the naughty, and Christabel is the hottie. Christabel, of course, played by Paris Hilton, who is the self-proclaimed hottie in this movie. Because I think. So every single movie that Paris Hilton seems to star in, she is the hot one. She's the hot blonde one. She's probably set women back by 50 years. You know what I mean? Like
she describes she's got this idea that she's the hot one, and that's the hot one in air quotes.
Yeah,
because I don't think a real person actually holds Paris Hilton up as some standard of gorgeous beauty. I think she's just a bit odd looking.
Jesus Christ, Simon! I was gonna
weird.
I was gonna go into a bit like she's horrible as a person, but perhaps not.
No. We'll talk about the fact that her face looks like a solid plastic sculpture on a springy neck.
Jesus.
No, I'm sorry. Right, no, we're going into ad hominem attack, which is just as bad as the movie itself with its whole June is ugly.
To be fair, you're right there. That's right. We don't want to go to the movie's level. We don't want to sink
to the film's level and show that we're actually I'm an actor. I don't care.
Well, what was it when you were doing you did a painting or a drawing and someone looked at it and said, "You really don't like women, do you?"
Yeah, fucking weirdo, right? I did a drawing, right, and it was actually right. This is what the drawing was. I could find it somewhere, but I won't bother about that. But yeah, because you can't see it anyway. Nadeem can see it, and he can go, "Oh fucking hell," like that. But right, this is what the drawing was. Right, it was a male corpse hanging from a tree, being fucked by a demon.
Jesus Christ!
While a rat in the corner looks on, smiling. And above,
what's that got to do with women?
There isn't. Yeah, she must have just decided it was a woman that was being fucked in the eyes by a demon.
We're gonna have to bleep that.
Well, we're not just going to bleep the F words and shit words and things.
Yeah, we're gonna.
And I want to do it so as that you can hear the first and last of every word. So it's like.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you might have said fuck.
I think it'd be better.
Yeah, we'll do that.
God.
We'll do it that way.
The kids are listening.
children.
Are we going to edit things out of this?
I'm f***ing editing this.
Yeah.
We've been shit. Just kidding. We've been great.
I think we should keep all of it in. No, I don't know.
No. Fuck it. No way. Definitely.
Really?
I'm going to say something repulsive just to make sure it needs to get edited.
No. Don't. I quite like it.
I don't like all of it.
Okay, cool. See, I find it really difficult to talk about the Hottie and the Naughty because I've forgotten about a lot of it. I kind of watched it a few weeks ago and left it at the door.
Well, let's face it, right? It's the whole point in the film is bullshit, right? Because there's this the guy that he goes to, the school friend guy that he goes to, and
oh my god, he lives with his mother, and he's a complete man-child.
It's like it's just this whole theory about how the hotness of one girl is directly proportional to the notness of her best friend.
I completely forgot about that. Right?
Is that a fucking thing that happens in the world? I don't think so. No.
The guy who lives at home, who is an expert on women, decides that because Christabel is so hot, she hangs out with June, who is her best friend, but is also like disastrously ugly. She is the yin to Christabel's yang.
And there's this idea that Christabel isn't going to do anything until June gets hers as well.
That's right. Yeah, of course.
Right. This is going to go into a really interesting area if I manage to come back to this or all that. But it doesn't make any sense. Right? So that means that basically Christabel's a virgin too.
No, because remember she says at one point, she's like, I've had my fair share of guys. I'm gonna wait until June has a boyfriend. She's
changing back to, at this point I'm going to draw a line and then,
because she's left June behind, because June is the virgin.
Okay, right. So now you're reminding me of this film that I apparently know so
good.
much about. Yeah. No.
How many times did you watch it?
About no, I'm not going to answer that question.
I watched it once, but I watched some of the funny moments a couple times.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to admit to watching it 3 times.
So yeah, as you
say,
the central message of the movie is a bit nonsense because the whole point is that what's the main character called? Let's just say his name's Simon.
What? Love Simon.
Simon.
I love Simon.
Simon says...
Nate,
that's right. Nate... so the whole point in the movie is that Nate eventually falls in love with June. But it's not because June's a nice person. It's because June...
has been remade.
It's because June throughout the course of the movie becomes hot.
He's like, yeah, so now that you're hot, I do like you after all. Because before I was enjoying your personality and thinking you're disgusting. Yeah. And you're bald and your teeth make me... vomit.
That's right, she's bald and she's got like really hairy body. Some of these things can easily be rectified. Come on, June.
Yeah.
Jesus. So
well, just to push the point home that she's ugly, they even like that. What was it? There's that yoga class that's where we first see June as an adult, I think. That's right. In a yoga class.
And she's got big long toenails.
She stuffs her sock in Nate's face, and it isn't even a sock that's been put on properly. It's one of those like flapping around.
It hangs off, yeah, that's right, and it goes in his mouth or something.
And that's like one of those visual metaphors on film for I'm ugly because my socks aren't even on properly.
It's a sophisticated visual
It's like
metaphor.
when a guy gets a divorce in a film, suddenly he's not clean shaven.
That's right. That's
completely correct. Oh my! You answer the door to a guy in a movie. If he's not clean shaven, you can go, "Oh shit! Did you just get a divorce?" Because
he's wearing a dressing gown.
You look like divorced guy right now,
which is terrible. I always wear dressing gowns.
I'm always I'm. This is it. We're dressing like divorced men. That's where we're going wrong. We're dressing just like divorced people. You look like a fucking divorced guy right now. That is not a clean shave, Nadeem.
It's definitely not a clean shave right now. Yeah, that's bad. I just thought, you know what? This isn't a visual podcast. I can look how I want.
The divorcedness is reaching the microphone.
In a way,
I'm going to guess that the people at home can just like tell that we're divorced men before we haven't even been married yet. I was divorced before I was married. So I think I'm going to just jump into what I think is the funniest bit in the Hottie and the Naughty, where it kind of compares to Farrelly Brothers, the film you've not seen by Farrelly Brothers, which everyone else in the fucking world has seen.
There's Something About Mary?
There's Something About Mary. It's got a very There's Something About Mary quality
to it.
There's
a big twist to There's Something About Mary, am I right? Because I remember going to
it's not like M. Night Shyamalan,
but it's a wee twist. Because I remember I remember being in HMV and going around all the DVDs when I was like a kid, or the videos VHSs as I was a kid. When I was a kid, and there was Cameron Diaz. There's Something About Mary, and she's like leaning over like, ah ha ha. But of course, I
that sounded like the Room guy, Steve Zissou or whatever it is.
Steve Zissou. That's the guy from the Wes Anderson movie.
All right, what's the name of the fucker that made The Room that everyone talks about? Tom Wiseau. Steve Zissou is the Life Aquatic. That's Bill Murray's fictional character. What a way to get mixed up. I love it.
That's a great movie as well. We should do that. We should do that. We'll have to.
So Cameron Diaz sounds like Tommy Zissou or whatever.
Tommy Wiseau.
I don't even know the name.
I think it's Wiseau.
I'll never remember anything.
So wait, what are we talking about?
There's something about Mary. You think there's a twist in it, but there's probably
right, but there's not really.
No, I don't know.
Okay, but
there is a bit. But
there is something about Mary. The title teases a a little surprise.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I don't know what it's about, but
yeah,
I'll watch it eventually.
It doesn't tease much of a surprise.
Because I love Me, Myself, and Irene. That's a
great film, and I think Kingpin is a good movie as well, which also has Bill Murray. That's weird. Randy Quaid is coached by Woody Harrelson in the ways of bowling.
Is that a Farrelly Brothers movie as well?
Yeah, it's a good film. Wow. I like it.
Okay, cool. Anyway, so what were we talking
So the funny bit in the Hottie and the Nottie, they've advertised to get a guy to date June,
and they hypnotise him.
At one point to
oh my god,
in a Shallow Hal type movie. Is that also a Farrelly Brothers movie?
I don't know,
Hal,
but I remember this bit now. I completely forgot.
And it's like they hypnotise him. You're not going to be repulsed by June. You're going to her ugliness will be blind to you. You'll be blind.
You'll be blind to her ugliness
unless someone says the line, and at the top of his head he says, "I love midget mimes," because no one's ever going to say a line like that in the world. We can rest easy that this guy's going to be in love with June for the rest of time, for all time, because no one in the world is ever going to utter the sentence,
"I love midget mimes."
I love midget mimes.
And of course, at the date,
which is on the boardwalk, like a sort of lovely
It's in Venice Beach or something.
Is it Venice Beach?
It's some fancy, I don't know, LA place.
Lo and behold, out of the corner of his eye, Nate spots a midget mime. He immediately goes, "Oh my god," because he knows that it's not going to be long before someone utters the exact sentence that he hopes not to be uttered. And then, a little... here's the thing, right? If you actually did see a mime that was a small person, you wouldn't expect that line to come out of someone's mouth.
But it's a movie, Simon.
But in this movie, in the confines of this film, Nate understands that this is the very next thing someone's going to say.
And guess what?
It is.
The little girl points at the midget mime and says, "I love midget mimes. I love them." I've never heard you do this voice. I don't know how I feel about it.
You like it.
And the guy snaps out of his trance, sees June for the ugly woman that she is, and
he seems to be taking more. Away. I think he's been around June before without being under the hypnosis, and it's like when he's been obviously smothering himself in June under hypnosis. So when it's like ripping a band-aid off, where he just goes "yeah" and like jumps into the water.
That's right.
It's so painful to see what he's been smothering himself with. I don't know if he's actually been smothering her, but he's been lusting.
That's right.
And he obviously feels weird about it the moment he sees.
He jumps into the water and swims away, just miles out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this whole thing made me laugh, right? And it actually, the funniest, I really like what the midget mime does. He pulls. He sees June in the audience and goes, "Oh, are you?" and pulls her, into the thing. And Nate goes to Christabel, "Oh, this could be interesting," or this could work. It's going to build her confidence.
That's right. Yeah,
it's going to build her. This guy's going to make a show out of her in a sort of inviting, inclusive way, and she's going to feel more accepted by the society around all that sort of shit. What he does instead is draw June's head on a fucking dog. Or it's not even a dog, it's like a cheetah thing or something. It's like a spotty hyena type animal.
I don't even remember that.
It's a great drawing, and if it had a big cock on it, I think it would be like a masterpiece of art. But They stopped short of like, I think a Farrelly Brothers film would actually have drawn the dick on the dog as well. Would have like drawn a horse-sized.
Well, one of the most one of the most memorable moments in any movie that I've seen by them, or the one movie that I've seen by them, is the bit where the baddie of Me, Myself and Irene ends up with a chicken stuck up his bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that bit.
There's a whole spate of films that the Farrelly Brothers kind of brought into the world.
See, this is the thing. They can do what they do right, but they've influenced people to imitate them, and as a result, there's just this kind of plethora of disgustingly misjudged movies trying to be like them. Like they can nail the gross out humor, but then there's like, well, Pledge This, for example.
Right.
But should we segue to Pledge This, or have we talked enough about the Hottie and the Naughty? Do you want to say some closing thoughts on the Hottie and the Naughty?
Right. Well, I like when he meets the his friend who's the know all about women who lives with his mum. I do like the bit where he goes, "So you graduated, in art history, yeah? So that basically means unemployed, right? That's cool. Means more time to hang."
That's a clever joke, huh?
Everyone likes to fucking diss people who've studied art history or art or anything like that. But fuck off. We're the ones that make the world. We make everything.
We make
the other thing, like, is so it turns out this film has a twist as well. Like, it turns out that this cardboard heart thing that with Christabel written in glitter.
Of course.
It turns out.
Right, hold on. We need to explain it. So, at the start of the movie, he gives Christabel a cardboard heart when he's a child for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and he's made it himself. It looks all lovely, little marshmallows and shit. Or what looks like fake marshmallows.
It's not made for shit, Simon.
Yeah, and it's like Christabel's written in glitter.
It's really cute. It's like a proper wholesome. And the kid that plays the young version of Nate looks hilarious. He looks a little bit like the meme of the boy with the bowl cut with the weird frog eyes. I don't know. I'll show you later on.
Yeah.
He looks like that. Perhaps it is actually him. I don't know.
It could be.
So anyway, he makes the Valentine's card for Christabel, and Christabel's got a big heap of Valentine's cards on her desk. But June, the ugly snot-nosed girl, has none, and she's really sad about it. So we find out at the very end of the movie that Nate took back his Valentine's card. Is that right? He takes it back. I
don't know if there's a story, but he finds it. He finds it as an adult at the end of the film, and he's like, the kid must have taped June's name over Christabel's crudely. Like, he didn't make it again. He didn't, like...
Yeah, not with any thought. It's like, oh, here's some sloppy seconds.
Yeah,
bitch.
I'm going to get a felt tip pen and a brown bit of paper and write June and then just stick it... You can still see the edges of the name Christabel underneath it and stuff.
It's so gross.
And
here you go, ugly girl. Have a second-hand Valentine's card.
Yeah, and this apparently is meaningful. It's like, maybe I gave the card to the right girl after all.
That's right. And then, of course, the ending... He runs and meets her after a disastrous night with Paris Hilton, who we haven't actually talked about, really.
It's not even a Paris Hilton movie.
It's not.
It's a Tom, whatever his name is, Putnam movie.
It seems to be, right. So Tom Putnam, my pet theory for Tom Putnam here is that he was granted this movie. He wrote the movie. I don't know if he wrote it. I don't know. I'm going to guess. He wrote the movie, and then, much like in Mulholland Drive, someone handed him a picture of Paris Hilton and go,
"This is the girl."
This is the girl. And he's like, fuck. So he has to
It was written by Heidi Ferrer.
Well, a woman.
A woman wrote this offensive garbage.
Wow.
Brilliant. I love it.
That's actually hilarious. So
wouldn't it be funny if it was written by that Smallville girl that did the sex cult thing?
Alison Mack. Is that her name?
If it was,
if
imagine
it's not Alison Mack, I'm sorry.
Screenplay by Alison Mack, directed by Tom Putnam.
Did you know that Alison Mack, like, she scored her? I hope it's Alison Mack.
It is. Don't worry. No, you've reminded me, and it is.
She scored her initials into the people in the car. So like they've got scars for the rest of their lives of AM. Like, I mean, I guess they could pass it off. They could be like, it's my favorite time of day. It's my favorite frequency of radio. It's my favorite band.
You can either say I'm a morning person or I wish I was. If you're someone who's like a night owl. Oh no, it's a night, because AM is like, if you're a night owl, you stay up to the small hours, so it's like 2 a.m, 3 a.m.
Or it could just be that you like getting up at the crack of dawn,
waking up at
or maybe you just like early lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
actually, there's another thing I've got to I've got to talk more about.
I know I was trying to close off
Hottie
Hottie
and the Naughty,
but I actually think there's a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, no.
Right.
He crudely. It turns out that he crudely changed his Christabel card to a June card, and he's just remembered that now, and it's and now that June's been made over, and now she's basically a hot girl too, it's acceptable to pursue
like
her.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's tone deaf, isn't it?
Isn't that good? Isn't that great? Heidi Ferry or whatever.
Because of course, it's like I thought this would be like
it's not like
Beauty and the Beast.
It's not like
movie.
Shrek, is it? Shrek gets everything right. It's like, you know what?
You're ugly, but guess what?
As a troll, you are beautiful.
Exactly, you're beautiful.
You're going to. We love each other. Our spirits have connected.
Is this a Shrek voice?
Our souls have connected.
Donkey.
His
Scottish accent.
Donkey can come in as a three-way sometimes if he's kind to us.
Well, he already has dragon babies. Imagine imagine Shrek's babies, Fergus, Fargle, and Felicia. That's her babies. That's his babies. Sorry. Imagine they had babies with dragon and donkey's babies, who are dronkies. That's part dragon, part donkey. All right. Imagine they had babies, part dragon, part donkey, part ogre, and actually part human as well. So they'd be human, ogre, dragon, donkey hybrids. What would they look like? I hope they explore this in Shrek 5.
Yeah, is it? Yeah,
Shrek
the long-awaited. Yeah. For fuck's sake.
What were we talking about?
Well, the other thing, right? We've covered the twist. We've covered the M. Night Shyamalan that comes right at the end of the Hottie and the Naughty, which is that he did actually foreshadow his love for June by changing his card as a child.
See, this is what I mean when I say it's actually quite. It's not well made, but it's well put. It's well thought about. Like the guy clearly thought about what he was going to do here. Like,
if I'm going to make an offensive movie, I'm going to do it with a fucking fine brush.
I don't think he thought it was offensive.
I'm going to paint my offensive painting with a fine brush.
Oh man! So there's some choice quotes in this movie, and we wrote them down, didn't we? But
I think a life without orgasms is like a world without flowers.
Perfect. That was exactly one of them. That's Paris Hilton, of course. Sage wisdom from P Hill.
And she's giving up her world of flowers until June gets some flowers of her own, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
That's right.
No, the bit I need, like there's a bit where does Nate get told, what are you good at? Explore what you're good at, and then use that to win Christabel, because Christabel, a rival for Christabel's attention shows up halfway through the film in the guise of some big muscly doctor, surgeon bloke, dentist.
That's right. I forgot about him.
The dentist guy who's a big.
He's a dentist. He's rich. He's
handsome and high status.
That's right. He's got everything.
What is it? 3 6s.
He's got 6 packs, 6 figures, and he's 6
foot tall. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. And he comes along, and it's like, now how do I compete with this guy? And someone comes up with, well, you're good on that crummy acoustic guitar of yours, aren't you?
My God.
And he's had to tape it back together with like that grey duct tape.
Because his ex partner smashed it over his head
after hearing the umpteenth song that he'd sung about her. And at one point he brings out his guitar. This is another good bit. I love the quote. I love the line that the muscly 6 foot dude says. He goes, "What a unique piece." At like a guitar that's been taped together. What a unique piece.
I don't.
Would you not just say what a piece of crap?
What a unique piece. He's trying to be diplomatic.
There we go. Yeah,
he's about to steal this guy's girl.
This is all part of the big because this guy's like Uber playing a game.
Yeah.
To when everyone has to love this guy to make sure that someone loves him.
That's right.
You've got to win everyone in the room, not just the one.
Well, that's the thing. So.
Yeah.
Nate is able to he's not as hot as, so in a way Nate becomes the naughty in that situation. He's the naughty, and then the other guy's the hottie. But then the movie is quite happy to just be like, you know what, the dentist guy's an ass. Like, he just disappears, doesn't he?
Yeah. Like
Paris Hilton doesn't even end up with the dentist.
Well, no, because the dentist is really he's making over June. And he actually doesn't have any. This is the thing. Nate's imagining that this guy's in it to win over Christabel, but he's actually just in it to make over June, and then you'll have this grateful, person who once was a monster.
That's
kind
right.
of thing. I'll have this hot girl who is so grateful for everything, and I won't have to use my imagination.
Oh, of
and
course, I forgot about that. He is a monster. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's how he's playing it. So in a way, Nate didn't need to be even, you didn't need to compete with the guy at all. You could have just let him play his fucking game. But of course, that wouldn't have,
that wouldn't have made a movie.
Wouldn't have led to the wonderful ending that we get with he finds out about June.
He runs to June, and he tells her he loves her, and end the movie. It actually ends really abruptly and with a terribly mixed in music. Like the music in this film is
Look out, baby, got a lot of love. Look out, baby, got a lot of love. That's how the song goes, guys. I hope you liked it.
It goes right on, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Look out, baby, got a lot of love.
It's just such a weird. It's like I said this in our practice session, in our previous recording.
Don't say practice session.
In our practice podcast recording session, I said that these movies are like movies that were made in an alternate universe, and it seems like they play by a set of rules that just don't quite pertain to ours at all. Like they're quite internally consistent, but they just the wrong way.
You think if if Vincent Vega, John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction, if he had like a movie date with Mia instead of that dancing one, maybe they'd have gone to see a film like The Hottie and the Naughty. It's a movie within a movie. It's a movie within several sets of inverted commas.
Would you watch this movie again?
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah.
I think I would as well.
And that scene, like when
some time.
You see when the car runs over the guy at the start, the girlfriend runs over him, like that's the scene where she opens the door and his arm comes out from under the car and he starts talking to her as if nothing's happening.
That's really weird. It's like a cartoon, yeah.
Yeah, it's got that sort of cartoonish thing of like, he just like they carry on their conversation even though he's under the fucking car.
There's actually a really good camera shot there. Like it's taken from over the car. The door opens and then the hand comes.
The hand comes out.
It's so well done.
Yeah,
but of course it's a Anyway, so I think we should really wrap up.
No. See, with the acoustic guitar thing, I was kind of trying to shamefully segue into like sort of a moment of therapy where I talk about a disturbing thing in my past.
Oh God, I don't know if I want to hear it.
You do.
All right, do it. Let's go.
Right. Well, you see,
and then we have to wrap this up and talk about Pledge This.
Fair enough.
Deal.
Fair enough.
Deal.
But the acoustic guitar scene, anything that involves acoustic guitars getting like brought out in groups of people and stuff.
So gross.
I think about the In-Betweeners film, and there's this in the In-Betweeners film. It's
been a while since I've seen it.
The second one where they're on the
that's the better one. I prefer that one.
And Will, is it what Simon Bird's character as well? Will, yeah. And he's like, he goes over to the guy with the dreads and like says, "Can I have a go on the acoustic guitar?" And he's like, "You don't have a go on the guitar. This is a lot of people around here. Are you sure you've got this?" And it's this sort of thing of like really builds up this idea of like, if you're going to pick up the guitar in front of a group of people like this, you've got to have the skills. Got to have it ready.
It can't just be Wonderwall.
Yeah, no. Well, I've got a really, I mean, I don't really care about, how good I am as a guitar player and all that, but as guitars and stuff is something that I do, and I, do a bit of that and that. But I was once at a party where I was completely steaming, and a guy was like doing the whole bit. He was singing songs, guitar and singing at the same time.
Was he handsome?
I don't care. I don't care. Maybe, but he was doing that, and because I was drunk, I was kind of trying to harmonise and sing along for some reason.
Good God, Simon!
And when he went to the toilet, he fucking gave me the guitar, and my hands didn't work. I got this really confused look on my face, like, why don't my hands work? And all these people are looking at me, and I was like, oh God, this is a horrible. Even as a drunk, I was like, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to remember this and fucking die.
Was it fine? Did you?
I couldn't.
How long ago was this?
This is it's not even that long ago. It was in the 30s, And by the way, I'm an old. Nadeem's young. I'm old. You know what? What you said about it can't be Wonderwall. I did nearly this. I didn't do Wonderwall, but I just like fell back on it. Like I had to really muster up every moment of every grain of concentration into my fingers and my brain, just like all tensed up to play Lithium by Nirvana, which is it's basically the same sort of thing. It's like it's the song that a lot of people learn to play to like look good on guitar when they're actually not. And I fucking like I just decided, I'm going to prove that I can play something.
I got this.
And I played Lithium by Nirvana.
Oh, Simon. That's kind of
so every time an acoustic guitar shows a scene like that, it's a train of thought. It's like it goes from whatever film it is to the in-betweeners to my horrible memory. So it's like boom, boom, boom. So yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, get right.
Pledge
Move
this.
on from Hottie.
National Lampoon's Pledge This.
Right, and you responded brilliantly to finding out that there's an actor in this film called Jeffrey Arend, I don't know. Up his end, I don't know what the fuck his name.
I don't remember this.
Jeffrey Arend is how it's spelled.
I seen. Oh, he's married to someone. Is that right?
He's married to Christina Hendricks
of Mad Men fame.
Yeah,
we're going to circle back to Mad Men a few times.
Of red-haired and massive breasts fame. It's not like I invented her massive breasts. That just is what a lot of people know. Like, it's a signature thing. Come on, if someone was saying, I'm not sure who Christina Hendricks is, how would you describe her? You would say she's the one with red hair and giant tits
from Mad Men.
From Mad Men or from Drive.
She plays. She's in Drive as well. Her head gets blown up in Drive. That's right. That's quite gross, actually. That's like, yeah, I forgot about that.
You need to watch. Have you seen the clip even of Scanners, the David Cronenberg film?
No.
Exploding head. All I'm saying is Scanners, exploding head. I'm sure that there's a YouTube clip just of that moment.
I'll catch it. I'll catch it. David Cronenberg.
Mental. Yeah,
right.
But anyway.
Pledge This. National Lampoon's Pledge This.
So a lot of people are surprised that Jeffrey Arend is... I don't even know if that's how you pronounce his surname.
It doesn't matter.
This guy... They say it's like one of those things where a geeky, not all that guy is like married to Christina Hendricks. And
his first line in the movie is
"Coochies are fresh,"
it's something like "You smell that?" It's like fresh coochie. No, it's
fresh
not that.
Poontang or coochies are fresh for all us men.
Yeah, he says, "Do you know why they call them freshmen? Because they got fresh coochies," or something like that. Oh,
and there's girls like walking past with an earshot, and instead of like slapping him in the face, they're like, that's so funny.
And he's not even handsome, he's gross.
Coochies are fresh for all us men. And I just wonder, right, did famous couples like that, did they like ever, like, for amusement, watch each other's...
Do you reckon Christina Hendricks has watched Pledge This? She must have.
I think so. I think that, if she hadn't seen that, then he would say, oh my god, you should see some of the crap I've done. Oh, you've got to watch this bit.
Are they still together? Perhaps
maybe,
if you watched this movie, they wouldn't be together.
Yeah, no, maybe...
Because he's like minging in this movie.
Yeah. But there's... I can't remember if it's his character. The other thing I should say is I got kind of a bit... a few tins of beer had to be drunk because this film was so bad.
It's hilariously bad.
Like, Pledge This is so bad.
It's a lot worse than the Hottie and the Nottie, but I think it's funnier.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's much more of a comedy. I think it's like terrible. No, what's the word? It's like terror-bad or something. Where it's like terrifically bad. Or terrifically... It's like so good it's bad. Or so bad it's good, sorry.
There's a moment where a guy's got like a shit stain in his pants and he's about to fall into a pool and everyone's laughing at him and you just hear this really... awkwardly dubbed in line, "This is embarrassing."
I don't remember.
Like, why do you need the line, "This is embarrassing"? Oh, this is embarrassing. I suppose it makes it kind of funny because it's stating the obvious.
Yeah.
It's like it's this thing of like when you're in the throes of like all this evil in the world and everything's turned on you and
that's all you can say.
You're standing there with shit in your pants and everyone's laughing at you.
Much like when you played guitar at that party.
Yeah.
Did you say this is embarrassing?
You need to look into the lens of the imaginary camera and say, "This is embarrassing, folks."
Wink a little bit.
Wink, wink.
Right. So what's this movie about? National Lampoon's Pledge This, because we haven't. I don't actually remember. It's
Paris Hilton is a sorority leader.
You don't have to look at the box.
I looked in the direction, but I didn't read that. I just remember it.
I want to test you.
She's a sorority leader. I can't remember. It's
just
something. Her name's England, isn't it? Is it Victoria England or something stupid like that?
It's like something like that. But I mean, right, so it's just the most vacuous premise ever. So I'm going to read it from the box because it's perfect.
Let's read the box.
As president of the hottest college sorority in America, Victoria has only one dream: to be on the front cover of FHM magazine. Ugh! It's the grossest thing I've ever seen. I keep saying gross in this podcast. I never
gross.
I never say that in day-to-day life. That's probably because I watch so much Paris Hilton. Glamorous, sexy, and viciously ambitious, she's not going to let anything or anyone get in her way. But will her evil plan backfire and reveal that the girl who seems to have it all isn't everything she pledged herself to be? So it doesn't actually explain what the plot is. The plot is that she's the president of the sorority, and she lets the non-glamorous sorority girls into the sorority for the sake of representation, and because they can't win the FHM magazine cover without having some ugly girls in their sorority. So again, it comes back to this whole Paris Hilton is hot thing. And then she has an evil plan or something to like humiliate. No, it's not right. She uses the girls in a sorority to get herself on the cover of FHM, and then at the end it turns out that she was just wanting to have just herself on the cover of FHM.
Oh, right.
And then there's a big humiliation at the end where Paris Hilton learns a big lesson. And
then, the valuable life lesson.
But then suddenly she just like admits that she was wrong and everyone loves her again. It's bizarre, even though she's a completely toxic person throughout the entire film.
And she's got like all the sorority things. It's like you've got to do all this stuff to when you hazing, yeah. And so they've got to like at one point there's a couple of girls that like wait around the toilets of a gay bar and ask the guy if they can get the used condom when they're finished.
Oh my god!
And it's all like, yeah, no problem, dude.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, so it's this great thing of like where you get to win the semen of a gay couple, you know.
And then there's like a big ball of used condoms, and they throw it at a tree, and then it lands on a woman's head at one point. This movie sucks.
Actually, there's the woman that's in this film that is much worse than a Farrelly Brothers film.
This is a terrible film.
She's in Farrelly Brothers movies. Like
is she actually?
Yeah, the girl that's in There's Something About Mary. She's the woman with the dog that gets speeded up, and she's in Kingpin. The two films that you've not seen by them, but trust me, she's there. She's like a very memorable kind of gross character in the Farrelly Brothers film. I'm saying gross as well now.
We should count how many times.
Yeah. She's actually also in Nightmare on Elm Street. She's the school teacher.
What's her name?
I can't remember.
Is it Holly Valance or Carmen Electra? No, because that's what it said on the box. It says featuring Holly Valance and Carmen Electra, of two people I have no idea who they are really, but apparently that's a feature of the film.
She's not written on the back of this because I would know her name when I saw it. But she's the school teacher in Nightmare on Elm Street, the first film, and there's like this scene in Nightmare on Elm Street is one of my favourite horror scenes ever.
I haven't seen it.
You've not seen it?
This is going to be a line for Mayan on this podcast. You're going to mention a movie and I'm going to be like, oh cool, haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, Nightmare on Elm Street, one of the best horror scenes ever, and this woman she's also in Insidious as well, you know, she plays the clairvoyant sort of spiritual traveller woman in the Insidious movies. She ended up in Pledge This as well along the way. Oh yeah, Detroit Rock City, that's another great one where she plays the disapproving mother of some metal freak kids, you know. Yeah, it's great. Detroit Rock City should go on the list of anyone who wants to watch funny movies, because that's a good one.
Is it bad?
No, it's good. It's a good film.
Okay.
It's a good funny film.
So we watched the naughty version of Pledge This, which is still only a 15, I notice. However, this movie features a dog
licking some cock, sucking some cock.
So what happens in the scene again? So Paris Hilton is with her boy, who she's using, I think. Is that right? She's kind of using him, and she sprays whipped cream on the man while he's in his bed, and then he says, "Shut your eyes," and then she gets her little terrier and places it on the bed, and then she leaves the room quietly while this man is enjoying the consumption of of the whipped cream. However, you'd notice, wouldn't you?
I don't know. Maybe not. I can't say it's ever happened. You can't like.
You'd feel the wagging tail.
Yeah, the wagging tail would move the head.
Or would the dog wag its tail in that situation? I don't know. I'd like to think the dog had a little bit of self-awareness.
You'd be aware of the wagging of a tail in the room.
And then, of course, the guy gets walked in on, and it's like, oh my, wow, he's with the dog, and then that's it. So it's clear that was a deleted scene in the normal version, and they've added this into the naughty version, but it has no bearing on anything.
To make it sellable as a product on DVD, they've got to advertise. They've got to have their little. They've got it's the naughty. Don't worry, if you saw it at the cinema, you've got reason to pick this up.
With the exception of like the Jackass movies, if a movie is on DVD with something like the unseen version or the naughty
extended
version, the chances are the extended version's terrible. I mean, maybe. That, of course, that doesn't apply to things like Lord of the Rings and stuff as well. Although I haven't seen the extended of Lord of the Rings. Have you?
Oh no! God, Jesus Christ!
You don't like them?
The original ones are long enough.
Right.
I don't know if I don't want to say that I dislike them, but they're long enough. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, they're long movies. It's been a while since I've seen them as well.
Yeah, no. There's another good quote in this film, along like the flowers and orgasms one from the Hottie and the Nottie.
All right, so a companion piece.
A companion piece is my dog is such a perv. I love it.
That's right. Although you need to try and do it in Paris Hilton's voice. I'm going to make you do it again.
My dog is such a perv. I love it.
And of course, this is the moment where this aforementioned dog goes into the toilets and tries to watch I was going to say a couple of people, a threesome of people in the toilets, and watches them. And yeah, Paris Hilton's narration is vacuous as she is, and it's
a voyeur dog.
Yeah,
my dog is such a perv.
It's very weird. And then that toilet blows up. There's the scene later.
There's an exploding toilet scene, right, with some sort of plumbing issue, and leads to shit flying everywhere.
Yeah, what's all that about?
And I'm pretty sure, right, there's a sort of slow-mo scene where like a maintenance man kind of goes meow, and I don't think it's a real slow-mo scene. I think it's like
I saw that as well.
It's like a Jim Carrey thing where, in Ace Ventura, where he just does this meow. It's like we can't afford to do an actual slow-mo shot,
so we're just going to make you all run in slow motion.
Can you just
kind
of
I noticed that as well.
Act the slow motion.
That was so weird.
Yeah, that's another weird bit about this film that's totally. It doesn't Pledge This. I don't really know if it deserves any sort of level of conversation at all.
That's why I'm struggling to find things to say about it. I mean, there was a really weird Hindu character in it. Mm-hmm. Do you remember her?
Oh yeah. Okay, right. So the vibrator scene, that was good.
I wasn't going to say it. But
yeah. No. This girl lady gets hold of a vibrator and thinks it must be something to do with curling hair.
That's right, and she starts curling her hair with it, and it's like, ah ha ha, and silly, naive.
There's a middle-aged woman who's in here with, she's got like the nastiest fake boob job as well. That's
and you see that because it's the naughty version. Yeah, so you see these scarred meat bags, as she calls them.
Yes, scars.
Fun bags. She calls them fun bags. She's like, I can't wait to milk these fun bags or something like that.
Yeah, it's this whole thing of like, an older woman getting to kind of turn the clock back and enjoy some college times again.
That's her entire character. Her entire character, and indeed her character arc, is to go to college and ride with some frat boys. I don't even remember if that happens though. I can't remember.
And she gets to play the educational sort of
she
person.
Gets to play the muse.
When the vibrator in her hand and she's about to use it on her hair in some way, and it's like, no dear, no, that's a vibrator. Yeah,
and she really emphasises it
because
this is a comedy.
Vibrator.
This is a comedy movie, Simon.
It's a vibrator.
It's funny for all the wrong reasons, isn't it?
It's unfunny for all the right reasons.
Oh, it's just so bad.
No, I died a little bit inside during this film.
Would you watch it again?
No, I won't watch this one again.
I think I maybe will watch it again. Maybe with my brother or something. I would have a laugh with it.
This one's on a par with the sort of the late American Pie sequels that don't involve anyone except from the original, except for Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy showed up in every American Pie film long after everyone else left them. And it's like Book of Love and Naked Mile.
That kind of kitschy, crappy American.
and it's
yeah,
you're just waiting on when does Eugene?
I hate it. My brother loves
when
it.
does Eugene Levy actually show up and grace this film with the original sort of?
What's he? Has he been in anything good? Is Eugene Levy? He's not in this.
No, he's not. Well, he's not.
This is too bad for him.
It's too bad even for him.
Well, Carmen Electra's in this, and she's the queen of terrible movies. She's in
I'm noticing that it's got also featuring Holly Valance and Carmen Electra, right? And you know what? I don't remember them being in it. Like this is a few.
Carmen
weeks.
Electra's only in it very, very briefly.
Yeah.
And in fact, the only movie I remember Carmen Electra being in is at the very end of another terrible film called Date Movie, in which she's tied up like King Kong. No, like in King Kong. And then all the natives are going, Carmen Electra, Carmen Electra. And then she gets... and then King Kong starts touching her and she goes, oh, kinky.
This sounds like a fucking great film.
Yeah, we're going to watch it. She goes,
Date movie.
Kinky. And then she goes, I love hairy boys. And then King Kong's hand comes down and crushes her to death. And then that's the end of the movie.
You know what? Carmen Electra, she was in a film called The Dating Habits of the Earthbound Human or something like that.
Sounds like a kind of movie that you'd like.
Yeah, no, it was a bit weird. I need to watch it again to find out if it actually is good. It's one of those things where it's been 15 years or whatever. But it's actually narrated by David Hyde Pierce, who plays Frasier's brother Niles in the old Frasier.
I only just found out what Frasier was.
Yeah, Dating Habits of the Earthbound something human or something, I don't know. And it's like got Carmen Electra in it. And it's a pretty weird, interesting film if I remember rightly. If I remember rightly, it's a bit weird and interesting. I think Date Movie sounds better.
Date Movies. It's a parody of Meet the Parents, but it also has a bunch of pop culture references like King Kong. Like, so for example, that King Kong scene is just there at the end. It's very weird, and it plays off of like Shallow Hal. So it's like a mix between Shallow Hal, Meet the Parents, and what's the other one? I can't remember. Maybe Notting Hill? I don't know.
Notting Hill?
I watched that last night.
There's a movie.
Do you want to just talk about Notting Hill instead of Pledge This?
Yeah. You watched that last night?
I actually only watched a little bit of it last night. But that, in fact, I was going to ask you about this. Julia Roberts. My uncle was telling me that Julia Roberts was like the highest paid actress for like a decade. And I have no idea. I couldn't name you a Julia Roberts movie now.
You know that our big film was Pretty Women. That was
that's right. But I haven't seen it. But she's pretty much off the radar now. You see her in the occasional advert.
Oh, you've seen Larry Crown with Tom Hanks?
Yeah, that's a terrible movie.
Fucking dreadful.
It's so bad.
And yet I can't look away.
Although
I've watched it about 4 or 5 times.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Larry Crown.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Oh my goodness,
God.
that's a terrible movie. Although it's got Rami Malek in it.
Yeah, and we're not allowed to focus on that at some point in the future.
We will definitely do that. We'll do a Larry Crown episode.
And how Julia Roberts, that's where she ends up. Like, but then this is
she
Tom.
in that?
Yeah. She's
I have
the
seen
female
Julia
lead.
Roberts movie. Oh well, in Larry Crown, Rami Malek, who plays he's playing
The biker boyfriend, is it?
No, Rami Malek, I think is. I could be completely off with this. He's one of the guys in the class in Larry Crown, and he does a dance in it. And I remember just absolutely ending myself laughing at that one moment of that movie, and then the rest of the film was terrible. Oh, I completely forgot about that. That's like a real...
Bryan Cranston, later of Breaking Bad fame, one of what people would call one of the best TV shows ever.
I stand by that.
He's in that as Julia Roberts' husband.
Is he in that?
He gets found out as whacking to erotica online.
I had no idea who was in that.
And he delivers this great line. We probably don't need to do a Larry Crown episode because we'll
do a Vanity Projects episode, right?
Yeah.
Because I can think of a few movies that are total vanity projects, and that movie is a vanity project.
But Bryan Cranston, he delivers a line in it where after his wife's confronted him about looking at porn while he's working from home, he's been looking at some porn. And he says, hey, I'm just a guy who's a guy being a guy when you're not around.
That's such a really good Bryan Cranston impression.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just thought, what lazy writing to just repeat the word a guy.
It's poetry, man.
Yeah.
You clearly don't understand poetry, alright?
Yeah, okay, no. Not like Nate from the Hottie and the Naughty. He's got poetry running through his veins. Yeah.
So, Pledge This. What else have we got to say about Pledge This?
Paul.
It's really not a good movie at all. It made me angry. And I actually think, to unify it with the Hottie and the Naughty, it doesn't have much Paris Hilton in it. Yeah. It seems to be about everything but Paris Hilton. And it seems as though she was placed in these movies as a result of her background. And the directors did their best to work around her, but were also just terrible as well. You know what I mean? Because the movies are bad without Paris Hilton in them.
If you took Paris Hilton out of these films, what would you be left with?
They'd be still terrible movies.
It would be the same thing, yeah.
It'd be awful.
It's like, I like that. I do like that thing. I'm not like a big fan of the Big Bang Theory, but I do like the bit where they pointed out to the world that if you take Indiana Jones out of Raiders of the Lost Ark, everything stays the same. Like,
yeah,
plot-wise, the end of the movie, everything, like, Indiana Jones has no impact on the world in the running time of that film.
It's pretty fun to watch though. But yeah, you're right. He does. He has nothing. He doesn't do anything. Indiana. That's a great movie.
Oh yeah,
it's a bit long as well. That movie, isn't it?
I don't know.
I remember watching
2 hours long or something.
I remember I got about an hour and a half into it and thinking, this has gone on for ages. It was exhausting.
You can't have liked it that much then, eh?
I really liked it, but it's been a while.
Karen Allen, she's beautiful.
Yeah,
I like Karen Allen.
I don't know who that is. Was she the lassie in it?
She's the she's
okay.
the tough, hard drinking lady in it. The guy.
She's
the girl.
That's a brilliant scene.
The girl that can drink any guy.
That's
under
an
the
absolutely
table.
brilliant scene. I actually love that scene. I completely forgot about that.
If they did like lame trailer versions of big movies, that would be like the voiceover bit. Like, she can drink any guy under the table.
To circle back to Julia Roberts and what I was saying about Julia Roberts was, so you're old enough to have seen major actresses like Julia Roberts come and go.
Yeah,
right? That's kind of interesting.
And come back again.
And come back. Well, I don't think Julia Roberts has come back, has she?
Well,
Larry Crown, notwithstanding.
There was like a dire sort of 90s kind of thing where she was in films like I Love Trouble and stuff like that with Nick Nolte. There was like kind of a dire spot in the 90s, and then Erin Brockovich won her an Oscar. So that's kind of there was a bit of career rectifying going on.
Well, there's a really weird moment in Notting Hill where she's at the table of the dinner party, and she talks about how in the future she talks about how in the future she's going to be a washed up middle-aged woman who doesn't get roles anymore. And I was like, oh my god, you're right, Julia. You called it.
There was a funny, like at the Oscars, she got like names mixed up. She name checked Tom Conti, the actor, when she meant some other dude that plays that is a music conductor.
Okay.
Yeah. So she went on stage and made a joke about like the previous year, the conductor or something like started up the music at the wrong time and ended up playing music over her speech or something like.
Right. So
I don't know, something like that. So
him.
she was going to make a joke about this conductor guy, and she ended up name checking the actor Tom Conti instead. And I can just picture Tom Conti in the audience, because he's probably in the audience at that sort of thing, just like, what the f*** is she talking about? A fucking flabby lip.
Oh, Julia.
Yeah.
What's her name? Julia Roberts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her name. That one, that A-list star who
Julia
was
Roberts.
the highest paid female actor.
What's interesting?
I'm not going to say actress because I think that's sexist. She's a female actor.
Well, in fact, in the movie in Notting Hill, I need to stop talking about Notting Hill. In Notting Hill, they say the word actress is the same as the word prostitute in 50 languages, and I was like, interesting. And then she like hits back at them and says, I don't know, enjoy your dinner, fellas. Oh.
No. Right, you see, this is bits that we need to edit out. We need to snip.
I don't know.
We need to trim the potatoes. Trim the potatoes.
I don't think we should be too heavy on the editing, though.
Trim the potatoes.
I actually think it's gone pretty well.
If I say trim the potatoes for the next 5 minutes, will you admit that we need to trim the potatoes? Okay, well, maybe we're better.
I don't want it to seem edited though. I want it to be as loose as possible. Okay. But I mean, perhaps we sacrifice coherence by keeping it loose. Because I mean, how many people listen now?
10 billion million zillion.
One person, my mum.
Yeah.
So I actually,
Tony from The Shining is listening. That little finger guy there.
Red Rum. That's a fantastic.
It's just like pictures in a book, Danny.
That movie's so good.
Yeah. That's art cinema.
That is art cinema. Maybe we'll do a Shining episode.
Art cinema.
I wanted to talk really briefly about Paris Hilton as a person. So her film career died. She's not really been seen for a while. I think she got married or she's just got engaged.
Just to a lucky fella, I'll tell you that.
To a lucky fella.
To a lucky fella. I'm sounding catty as fuck.
We're falling apart here. We're falling apart. So
let's slag off Darius again. That famous
Paris.
See, I'm about to cut.
What's that?
You can't have me saying on the.
Oh, we'll just bleep it. We'll just bleep it. It's fine. So her grandfather, Baron Hilton, announced his intention to donate to charity 97% of his fortune, which stood at $2.3 billion in 10 years ago, 2007. But she has done very well on her own. She has a retail empire, including 50 stores, 19 product lines, and sales from 23 different fragrances, exceeding $2.5 billion. One of them is reportedly the second most successful celebrity fragrance line of all time, only behind the one created by Elizabeth Taylor. All in all, Hilton has amassed a fortune of about $300 million. What? So she actually did quite well for herself in the end.
So this guy she's marrying, is she marrying up?
I have no idea. I would doubt it.
Can you marry up from $300 million?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe you can.
It makes me wonder how much of it.
Billions and billions. That. Maybe is she getting married to that Bill Gates guy? Is that her?
Bill Gates in Paris. A Night in Paris 2: Open
the gates. open Bill Gates.
Open the windows. And gates.
Open the back passage of Bill Gates.
Jesus
just
Christ.
Gently, just rub a little bit of.
Oh my God, Simon, shut up!
Rub a bit of butter on there. You've seen that Last Tango in Paris, haven't you?
I haven't seen that. Is that what you're referencing?
Yeah.
See, I just thought you were going.
Marlon Brando just sticks his paw right in the butter, and you know where his hand's going next.
Oh my God,
it's brilliant.
I've not seen that. Is that that's a movie, right? Last Tango in Paris.
Nadeem,
has it got Paris Hilton in it?
It doesn't have Paris Hilton in it, but I'm a bit offended that you think I would make up an entire movie in my head where Marlon Brando fucking fists the butter. And you think, is that a real film, Simon, or are you just
I don't know, Simon. So
anything's possible.
I want to say something insightful about Paris Hilton, but it's difficult to, isn't it? So her
character in the Hottie and the Naughty, we just she's a nicer person than she is herself. Like, that's right. She's a nicer, but in Pledge This, she's pretty much playing someone around about where she is morally. Anyway.
It seems, yeah.
Actually, in the Hottie and the Naughty, Nate refers to the dentist dude, 666 guy, Satan dude. He refers to him as a pod person, and I immediately thought of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Pod person is like it's basically it is a reference of Invasion.
That's
of
what
the
I
Body
thought.
Snatchers.
Yeah, it's a pod person. Yeah.
But the thing is that it's not really appropriate to Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's more appropriate, in my opinion, to Village of the Damned, where all these kids are born that are blonde and perfect.
I haven't seen that.
So my feeling is that this thing, pod person, it's kind of like a flippant interchangeable thing of like, I'll say pod person and you'll think of a blonde perfect kid, even though in Invasion of the Body Snatchers the whole point is that everyone, all different sorts of people
are the same.
Yeah, on the outside they all look different, but on the inside they become the same, and right. they work and thing. And it's actually like the Invasion of the Body Snatchers is like an anti-communist film.
That's right. Yeah, it's the Red Menace.
It's anti that, whereas Village of the Damned actually references communism in it. They talk about the effect that the groups of children have popped up in other parts of the world, and there's two areas that are communist that had different effects. So I thought that was quite. I was like, you know what? If they wanted to reference the Village of the Damned, how would they do it? You can't reference Village of the Damned.
I don't think Mr. Putnam has any intentions of elevating his movies to high
Christabel
art.
Is a Marxist though, because she wants June to have everything she has, even though she looks way different, and it's like that's not how the world works.
That's true. Wow, that's insightful.
Everyone deserves the same thing. Everyone deserves everything exactly the same, even though everyone's completely different, and some people are ugly, and some people are stupid, and some people
can never be Paris Hilton,
and some people have got zero personality.
I think Paris Hilton is third generation rich family. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Is there someone in the house? Let's pause this and have a look. Oh boy. We good? Hello. Oh, okay. I actually don't know. I'll pause it. Cool. Okay.
And the next day, it's the next day now. It's 24 hours later, and we're trying to pick up the podcast. Yeah. So Christabel is a Marxist, and that in a way,
end of discussion.
In a way, that's kind of cool that Nate references Pod Person, because
that's kind of neato.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, maybe Heidi Ferrier, is it Ferrier, the screenwriter of this film? It's Ferrer, I think.
Perhaps we just
Heidi Ferrer. Maybe the Pod Person thing was actually thought out, and it isn't just a throwaway thing that I, thought about way too long. Maybe it's a real thing. Maybe it's a real thing of like, yeah, no, I was totally referencing body snatchers and therefore Marxism and communism, because Christabel is a communist character.
So would you say this film is important?
It's very important.
I think it's highly important.
Highly important. We should all let's find out what these documentaries are like by Tom whatever is
Tom Putnam. Yeah, I think we should. And also, I think that if in the event that we have to, in fact, not that we have to, I think how they send out probes into space with our culture stored on a drive.
Oh yeah.
And
this film should be in there. Yeah,
I completely agree. I think the Hottie and the Nottie, because it kind of shows us the worst of people. It shows us the best of people. It shows us. Because I mean, most of us wouldn't be able to make a good movie. Most of us would end up making a movie as bad as this, right?
Yeah, I think that the Tesco logo should be visible from space. I think that they should just put floating letters in the Pacific Ocean. Just
Tesco.
Just brand the.
No, I think Amazon. In fact, I want Amazon to buy the moon and just have Amazon written across the moon. Or maybe they should invest in one of those belts that they have around Saturn and just get an Amazon logo around that belt around the moon.
You've just made me think of a film called Amazon Women on the Moon.
Oh.
There is a film called that. It's awesome.
Wow. I think that's us.
F*** off. Yeah. Why did you listen for it?
This is a long time to have listened.
Yeah, we've talked for at least 20 minutes
about pish.
I'm saying 20 minutes because that's what I'm going to cut it down to. Only joking, just kidding, I can't believe we spoke for all 3 minutes.
Well, I feel like we need to conclude.
Can't believe we spoke for 3 minutes about Paris Hilton movies.
We need to conclude.
If they made a porn version of these films, they would be the same film. That's my conclusion. Because this is pornography.
What would you give them out of 10, Simon?
Right, well, I'd give the Hottie and the Nottie about 4 or 5.5 out of 10.
5.5 is a positive review.
It deserves kind of a positive review, in my opinion. This is where we get
This is where we converge, mate.
Stick to our guns and take on the establishment and say, "Fuck you, Kermode. You're not the be all end all." Kermode
can. Do you reckon Kermode likes this movie? I'm sure he does.
No. Sorry. Mark Kermode would be disgusted by the Hottie and the Nottie. He'd say something along, that this Entourage film. He said something about, this film is as sensitive, on gender politics as.
Oh right. Right. So if you didn't like Entourage, he's not going to like the Hottie and the Nottie.
No way. No.
I don't know what I'm going to say about these films to conclude. I didn't like them. I think the Hottie and the Nottie is funny. Bad funny. Pledge This is actually funnier, but it's just it really it's like a cheese grater to the soul, isn't it?
Yeah, cheese grater to the soul.
Oh my god! When you watch it, and I watched this by myself. I didn't watch this with a pal. I watched it by myself for this podcast.
Yeah, well, I mean, what, you're going to drag someone else in with you?
I thought maybe my brother would be able to watch it. But
that shows you're a kind and thoughtful, some consideration for other members of the human race there.
All right, cool.
Cheese grater to the soul, full stop.
Paris Hilton movies, everyone. Thank you very much for listening if you got this far. And we'll see you
Over and out.
next time.